afternoon, everybody. Welcome into the sanctuary. Now let's take a conscious, connected breath. And so we prepare ourselves now to move into that open, receptive state wherein we're ready to leave all the busyment of the bodiment outside and take ourselves out of the sensory world for a moment or two. And know that we are now consciously aware of the presence of that which is greater than we are within us, around us, and about us. And we know that when we do this and succeed at this, there's nothing to do, there's only to be. So in that beingness, we become open receptors to the good that is available to us. As we celebrate today, a deeper understanding of what unconditional love is all about, and to allow ourselves to be open to being conduits of that same love. So this is what each one of us can know. That right now it doesn't matter what the circumstances, situations, whatever it is that's going on in the outer life, it cannot touch me when I am consciously connected to my source. So I move into that state of blessing. I move into that awareness of presence. I know I'm here to know, to love, to understand, to be one. To have everything that is me aligned with the bigger and more fantastic and magnificent understanding of life in all of its fullness, in all of its radiance, in all of its ability to mend and fix and heal. And that's where I am now. Just open and receptive to mending and fixing and healing whatever seems to require it in my life and in all life. And so I call upon the power, I call upon the presence now. And I am knowing that something is happening and something is changing. And something is moving in me and rearranging in me, whatever requires it. And I pause for a moment now, and I allow my attention to go to releasing whatever might seem to be ailing me just now, and see that filled with light, whether it's mental or physical or emotional or spiritual, but just see the light interpenetrating it and dissipating it, because I'm ready to release it and let it go. And so I breathe and I relax and I release and I let go and I let God. I allow myself now these moments of quietude and stillness and listening. And I know in listening I will not leave this sanctuary the way I entered it. And all I have to do is listen. And so I bless everything and everyone. I bless all of life and all of creation. I bless all those near and dear to me. I bless all those who serve me every day of my life, the many thousands that it takes for me to live the life that I am living. I move into that state of grace, the state of blessing, and I bless and I bless and I bless the day and myself in it, and everything else besides. And I allow myself to know that I am here because of an impulse of my soul that took me here. so that I can be more connected, consciously aware of my soul and that vast part of me, the interior side of me, the invisible aspect of me, that I can call upon, rely upon, and know. A change always happens when I do, and it's a change for the better. So I praise and I bless and I thank and I honor and I love the source of my being as I declare good in my own life and good in all life. And I bless my own life and I bless all life. And I know that every time I consciously connect with my source, I can rely upon a response. For Spirit is a very real and present help. And with that in mind, I take now all the wonderful, amazing, beauteous intentions and statements of truth that are in my heart, and I release them all into that receiving creative process, the law of life itself, knowing I am now responded to affirmatively and immediately as I say. And so it is. And now we have a wonderful musical, inspirational song from Michael Paul himself.
Good afternoon. So good to see everyone. You who dwell in the shelter of the Lord, who abides in his shadow for life, say to the Lord, my refuge, you're my rock in whom I trust, and she will raise you up on eagle's wings, bear you on the breath of dawn, and make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of her hand. The snare of the fowler will never capture you, and famine will bring you no fear, for under her wings your refuge, your faithfulness, your shield, and he will raise you up on eagle's wings, and bear you on the breath of dawn, and make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of his hand. For to his angels he's given a command to guard you in all of your ways. Upon their hands they will bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. And she will raise you up on eagle's wings, and bear you on the breath
Nothing like the good oldies. And Michael Paul singing them. Okay, my dear ones, we are going to now have our prayer. It says here, responsive reading, but let's all read it together under the prayer declaration, congregation. So if you open your page, it's on the third page there. And we'll all read this together. God is all there is, and I am one with God. I cast all burdens upon the Christ within, and I go free. I put on the compassion of Christ. I let God be my expression. The healing power of Christ now moves through me and makes everything new in mind, emotion, and body. Open to the givingness of Spirit. Spirit fills me. Spirit and I are one. I am open and receptive to the gifts of Spirit. I am one with my source. In Spirit I prosper. Spirit's truth and wisdom illuminates my consciousness. I am Spirit's perfect word. I am as God created me to be, whole, perfect, and complete. I am free now to be my magnificent self. I rejoice in my wholeness and give thanks for my fullness. God is my good, and good is my God. All is love, and so it is. And now we are going to sing Amazing Grace. Well, we certainly miss Reverend Mary when she's not here leading us in song. And too bad I don't have her voice, but I don't. It'd all be out the door if I was to lead you all in song. But she's stuck in the freeway traffic at the moment, so there you are. So this is a wonderful time for us all to get together. I mean, I really love this day. I call this Love Friday rather than Good Friday because it's a day in which we get to really look at what the nature of love is all about, and if we so are inclined, measure ourselves up against what that looks like, and that's not fun. That's not the fun part of it, because I tell you, when you do that, it's a mighty challenge to live a life of unconditional love and to be in its expression all of the time. And so the beauty of this day is that we get to mourn and to celebrate at the same time. We get to mourn all of the greed and the avarice and the bigotry and the violence and the apparent evil that appears to be in our world. And it's very easy for us to be able to pinpoint all of that. And we get to grieve the results of all of that and the pain and the sorrow and the anguish that it causes. And there is that level of this day, too, that puts us into that mirror as well as into the mirror of love. And yet, that is a human construct that has been with us since time began, and it will continue, I am sure, although I know it will become more and more diluted as we grow in wisdom and grace and as we mature in our transforming, evolving humanity. And as we move more fully into the whole aspect of our being, I know that will lighten. But in the meantime, it's the mirror that we look into, and we have to know how to handle that and how to respond to it. And the way we do that is to go to the great ones, just like the supreme master teacher, Jesus of Nazareth. And we see, well, love always conquers everything unlike itself, always. Without fail, it always does. There never yet has been a time when evil has conquered good. Never. And there never shall be. Because, as Emmett Fox says, there's nothing enough love cannot heal. And so you and I are here today to be grateful and thankful for all of the love that we experience in our lives, and to be grateful and thankful for all those who have shown us the way to be better lovers ourselves, and to also make a pact with ourselves to do no harm and not to pour into life and living any more of the toxicity and negativity of what it is to be on the flip side of love, and to stay in the shadows rather than in the light. Now, you and I, all of us, are in shadowland at some time or another. It's the nature of being human. We will be in the shadows and out of the shadows, and in the light and out of the light. However, it's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It just is what it is. Wherever we find ourselves just is what it is. Now, how we respond to it is what makes us the great, strong, beautiful people that we can be, as far as triumphing over any adverse person, place, or thing, which includes ourselves sometimes. And so we're looking at that today. And so I like to look at love from two perspectives. There's the human personal perspective, and then there's the cosmic divine perspective of love. And the personal human aspect of love is rather chaotic in its nature. And chaos is just chaos. I mean, it's part of life and living. It's part of the universal way of evolving and so on. But when we look at the personal human aspect of love, is where we hang out mostly, really. And it belongs to the sensory world, the outer world, the world of the senses. It belongs to the egoic way of perceiving life and living. And the egoic way of perceiving life and living is rather scary, because the ego is so often so frightened, and so it can lead us a merry chase in that way. So when we're meandering around in the realm of human and personal love, what we find ourselves engaged in is, what am I here for? What am I here to get? What am I here to take? And how can I get it? And how can I take it? And then when I get it, how can I keep it? How can I hang on to it? And we're in that kind of arena too much of the time, it seems to me, because if we weren't, we'd be living in a different kind of world. But the egoic human part of us that's not yet enlightened always wants to find out what it can get, how it can get it, and how it can keep it. And then the pull from within the soul, of course, is to be quite the opposite. What am I here to give? How can I contribute? And how can I make a lasting difference while I am here? And that's the inner side of us, the vast side of us, the conscious, aware side of us, the pristine state of us. And thank God for it, or we'd be in bad shape if the ego was to rule the roost. And of course it doesn't. Now the ego is a beautiful thing because it makes you what you are and makes me what I am as far as personality is concerned, as far as diversity is concerned, and individuality is concerned, and originality is concerned. But that's an ego in balance. But the ego is not always in balance, and when it's not, we're on tricky waters, and we need to be careful. And so today the call is, well, where are we with regard to love, and how do we measure up? The mystical, cosmic, divine aspect of love is that which is unconditioned and unconditional. And we find it very hard to figure out what that is because it's infinite and we're finite, and we're endeavoring to make the most of wanting to be in that state. And when we are deliberate and intentional and direct our lives accordingly, that does happen, and we do mature spiritually, and we do become enlightened, or rather we return to our enlightened state that we came from, and we wake up and we remember. But we have to roll up our sleeves and we have to do our work. Because at the level of human love, it's not going to get done, my dear ones. The world is not going to change, and we're still always going to have strife and struggle and wars and rumors of wars and all that goes with that. And that's because this frightened, scared aspect of us that's either conscious or unconscious, it can be either or, which is, as I say, a sensory thing, because human love and personal love is mostly based at the level of emotion, whereas it is an emotion for many of us, whereas spiritual love or divine cosmic love is not emotion, it's a force. And your job and my job is to transition from the emotional state into the force state of being, that graced state of being, where we're not battered around by emotions anymore. And yet our emotions tend to rule the roost. And as you know, they can be highs and lows, and when there are highs and lows of emotion running rampant, then we're not always in sound judgment with regard to how we choose and how we run our lives and how we conduct them. And at that level, there is quite an amount of chaos that happens, and you and I are expected to be able to row our boat gently down that stream. Well, how many people can row their boat gently down the stream of highs and lows of emotions? It's more like a very rough, roaring sea, and you're trying to keep afloat and afraid of drowning in it all. And so what happens is we're full of expectation at the human level as far as love is concerned. And we're as fickle as all get up. We can change in a dime. I can love you to bits today, and tomorrow you're out the door, I'm telling you. And you're not getting back in again until you deserve to get back in again. And I'll decide when I'm good and ready to allow you that privilege and opportunity. And that's how the human egoic mind works as far as expectations are concerned. And so we have all of these expectations of each other, and we demand those expectations of each other. And we say, listen here, I expected this to happen, when I, decided to choose to love you and allow you to choose to love me. These were the expectations, and I expect you to measure up to that expectation. You actually vowed that you would. And look at what's happening now. Where's that all gone? And then if it doesn't work out and I get into that fear and scarediness of having my whatever I'm due and so on, and I go into that terrible state of, self-righteous vengeance. If I don't get what I expect from you here, I'll jolly well get it from you in court. That's where it can all end up sometimes. And I mean, what does that say? What does that say about our way of loving each other? What does that say about love? It says nothing at all about love. That's not love. Whatever it is not love. And so I wonder sometimes, do we even have any clue with regard to what love is? Do we have any real deep clue about what love is? You see, here's the beauty and the grace of love. If I choose to love you, I will stay in love with you, no matter what you think of me, no matter what you say about me, no matter how you belittle me, no matter how you belie me, no matter how badly you gossip about me. I'm not going to change my mind about you. I will stay at the level of wishing you nothing but well, wishing you nothing but the highest and the best good. And I will pray for you with the same fervor that I pray for the most cherished person in my life. Now that's love. That's love. Love is not the retraction of an emotion when someone disapproves of me or I of someone else. It is not. It doesn't alter when it altercation finds, as Shakespeare says. It doesn't alter. Love doesn't alter. It's a stable. It's the same today, tomorrow, and yesterday. And whatever the other stuff is, don't call it love. It's not. It's not that. It's something else. So today we're called upon to really measure ourselves against what is asked of us. Why? Because I'll tell us why. I'll tell us why. Because you and I are called to be lovers. It's in our spiritual DNA to be a lover. All of the great ones were lovers. That's what they had in common. They were all lovers. And they were all mystical lovers. They'd moved out of the egoic emotional attachments that we get into and entanglements that we get into at the human level of love. They transcended that and they had moved into cosmic mystical love, which is a force that overcomes you and fills you. And when you get there, this is what happens. You're no longer at the stage of expectation of anything or anyone. You're so beyond and above. Can I have, look, I'll be okay and I'll be better and I'll be able to move into this real deep spiritual state, when I get my act together, when I get my life together, when I get the car, when I get the man, when I get the woman, when I get the boat, when I get the plane, when I get the train, when I get the house, when I get the vacation, when I get all of that stuff, I'll be in a position then to relax enough to take the rest of it really deeply and seriously and get on with it. Well, no, I won't. Because that's never ending. That pool never gets filled. If I'm not ready right here and now, regardless of what circumstance, even if I only have one wheel on my wagon, I'm still in a state to be ready to do this. I could do this. But see, once you get into the cosmic realm of love, you are beyond. I would be beyond, as you would be beyond, all of that nonsense that the egoic state of being gets us into and causes such frenzy. Or I love you when you get the train and the boat and the plane and the extra, holiday home or something like that. Whatever that is, when you're ready to take care of me in the style and manner I'm deserving of, then, we'll see about this thing called love and all of that. But when we love not wisely, but too well sometimes. We're overkill in one way, or else we're undernourishing in another way when it comes to love. And we use love as coinage. We use it as coinage. We give it out when we're pleased. When we're not so pleased, we withhold it. And then we have to earn it from each other. We have to re-deserve it again from each other. That's game playing, it's power playing, and it's not what the great ones were into. Now, the beautiful example that Jesus gives to us is, it's every time I contemplate any one of his beautiful organic principle teachings, it's just awesome. So one day he was approached by this gentleman that wanted to ask him which was the greatest of all commandments, and without a pause he said, "Hear, O Israel." Well, whenever you hear, "O Israel," or "Amen, amen," I say to you, it means sit up and listen to this one now and pay attention and get this because it's important. And so he said, "Moses gave you the 10 Commandments, but I say unto you, love God with your whole heart, with your whole soul, with your whole power, with your whole mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." And all of the commandments can be reduced to these 2. Love God with everything you are, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. And that "as" is very important. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. And so what is a mystic? A mystic is a person who is passionately in love with life, with God, with the good, and who practices the principle of oneness, sees no difference in anything and anyone. All they see is God, is life, is something to be loved and cared for and regarded and respected and cherished and supported and given to. That's what a mystic is. That's what you're called to be. That's what I'm called to be. Nothing less than that. Nothing less than that. And further than that, today celebrates one thing and one thing alone is the greatest of all lessons. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Were some of the last words of Jesus on this plane. His favorite name for life, with capitals, for that one power in the universe greater than we are, for that infinite, intelligent field that is beyond imagining, was Father. That was his favorite name for it. We can't name it at all, but that was his favorite name for it. Most people on this planet call that thing that is nameless God, and many derivatives of that. And some people are put out by that. Don't call an infinite field of intelligence God or divine or good or whatever. Call it what it is, those who have scientific minds. Well, I say to that, I'll call God what I like. And you can call God what you like, because nobody can fully understand what to call this thing called life. But anyway, Father was Jesus' favorite term for it. And Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. It's such a simple statement. It's such a basic statement. But oh my gosh, it's so profound. If you and I could do that every time we get our knees in a knot about some little thing, we would be so happier. Our tummies would be happier for it. Our heads would be happier for it. Our health would be happier for it. Our emotional body would be happier for it. The whole of us would be happier for it. And not just that, everybody else around us would be happier for it too. I mean, the things that we upset ourselves about is unbelievable. That we can take a tiny little thing that's not even true and turn it into a nightmare. And then create such drama around it that not only upsets yourself, but a whole lot of other people too. And it's all based on that which is not true in the first place. So we need to watch that in ourselves. If we want to really take care of ourselves, no use running to the gym and doing all the stuff in the gym and walking miles and drinking water and doing all of that. That's just one part that needs to be taken care of ourselves. The physicality of ourselves. But that's only one part of the physicality of ourselves. That's taking care of the chemistry, the physicality of the chemistry of our bodily being. But there's a mentality that has to be taken care of. There's an emotionality that has to be taken care of. There's a spirituality that has to be taken care of too. People are doing all these wonderful good things and they're wondering why their lives are not working out, because I eat proper food and I drink a lot of water and I go to the gym and I do yoga and all of the same things. Well, yeah, but what are you thinking in your mind while you're doing all of that? What's happening in your mind when you're driving to work or home from work? What's going on? Are you belittling your neighbor? Are you ballyragging your mother? What are you doing? Because it has to be a total spa, not just a physical one. And we just have to understand that that's what love is all about. Taking care of life, your life, and everybody else's life, and not just part of life, but all parts of life. And so I always get excited about today because it's such a challenge. It's such a throwdown. It's such a throwdown to think about Love Friday and what it is inviting us to. It's not demanding anything of us, because love never demands. Love never demands, but it does invite. It invites and it says, if you respond, I'll help, I'll support, I'll be there, I'll be at your back. You can depend on me. And so let us go into the next day, the rest of this one, and the next day as we come into Easter Sunday, which really and truly is the celebration of spring. New life arising in spring. And all over the world, in all kinds of cultures, that is being celebrated. Coming out of the darkness and out of the deadness of winter and rising up a new life, that which creates more life. So between now and then, let us look to ourselves and see how well we love ourselves, because it's all based on that. It's all based on that. How well do you love yourself? I don't mean indulge yourself. Love yourself, which means honor yourself, respect yourself. Why? Because as one of my teachers used to say, you love yourself, you honor yourself, you respect yourself, because God dwells in you as you. That's why. And the news is wonderful. I love you with an everlasting love. Love one another as you have first been loved. You are so deeply loved, so deeply cherished, so deeply given to if you are open to it. You have to invite it. It won't come uninvited. You must court the presence and invite the presence into your life, because it will be a bystander looking in and waiting for that moment of opportunity, that window of opportunity when you will invite. And that will be responded to, that invitation. I mean, think about it. Some of us on this planet have had some experiences of the close connection that we have with Source, that they can say things like, I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have called you. I've drawn you by the cords of compassion. I have written your name upon the palm of my hand. I wear you like a seal upon my arm, like a seal upon my heart. You are mine, and I will never let you go. I will not give you up ever, no matter what. I will not give you up. That's what life is saying to us every single moment. And the beauty of it is, some moments we actually listen in and hear it. And when we do, everything goes, and everything feels easier. And everything feels copable with. And everything feels like it's passing. I'm getting through it. I'm done with this. And soon the good will come out of this, and I will experience it, and I will be the better for it. But we have to have a trust, like an unbelievable trust in life, for that to happen. No matter what. No matter what. You are the amazing grace of life itself. You are the radiation of life itself. You are the point of life's power itself. You are the chosen aspect of material form by which spirit wants to express itself and experience itself by means of you. Now, how awesome is that? It doesn't get any better than that. There are no other highs to be compared with that. Yes, me, my old grumpy, crabby, complaining, gossipy self. Me. Yes, me. That's what I'm chosen for. That's what I am capable of. And that's what I can transition into if I could only just surrender enough of the fear and the craziness and the scarediness that the ego would have me stay in. If I could just give it up and let it go and just say no to it. Do the Caesar to it. And that changes your whole mentality. That's what Caesar does with the dogs. That's why he's the dog whisperer. And all he does is tss. And what is that? If you do tss, how come it doesn't happen the way it happens for Caesar? Because Caesar has absolute faith, confidence, and trust that it's going to work. That's the only difference. You could be tss, 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 and the dog would have you on the floor. But one from Caesar, because your energy is not aligned with that. You see, that's how that works. So I would say to you, get up and get out there and go celebrate. Go celebrate the loveliness that you are, the grace that you are, the goodness that you are, the love that you are, the kindness that you are, and the infinite possibility that you are. Understanding that life is expecting and waiting for you. And there's no one else going to do it except you. You're going to be the light bearer, the channel of grace. You're going to be the one that's going to make the difference out there. And you're going to be the one that's going to bring the light to the shades and the darkness and so on and so forth. You only have to walk into a supermarket to do it. You only have to get into your car and drive the freeways to do it. Plenty of opportunity, nothing lacking there. And that's your power. Use your power, for you are the emanating spirit of life divine with the capacity to love unconditionally, with the capacity to make a huge change while you're here for 2 seconds on this plane. And it is 2 seconds, let me tell you. They interviewed a lady who was 117 years of age in Japan, going strong, as sharp as a tack. And the first answer to her question was, the question they asked her is, well, what's it like to be 170? What does life feel like? What do you have to share with us? Oh, it just goes so very quickly. That was her first thing. 117. So stop. Let us all stop wasting the time that's given to us and get out there and be the light and the love and the power and the crazy, beautiful blessing that we're meant to be, and make a whole lot of people laugh. Because it's all about laughter, isn't it? The God who laughs is the best medicine. So I'm going to stop here now so that you can eventually leave here and be all of that, and not just listen to all of that, but to be it. But be it in the sense that you're listening into your own beautiful spirit, and it will guide you and guard you and keep you and take care of you. Truly it will, if you trust it and depend upon it and rely upon it. And remember, the best answers always come from within yourself. The best answers always come from within yourself, the soul and its wisdom within you. So talk to your soul a lot. Engage the power, engage the power. I'm starting another talk, and so it is. So it is.
When I'm down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk the stormy sea. I am strong when I am on your shoulder. You raise me up to more than I can be. When we're down and oh, our souls are weary, and troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until Spirit comes and sits a while with me. 'Cause you raise me up so I can stand on mountains, and you raise me up to walk the stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulder. You raise me up to more than I can be. Stand on mountains, and you raise me up to walk the stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulder. You raise me up to more than I can be. Mountains, and you raise me up to walk the stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulder. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
Another beautiful song sung so beautifully by Michael Paul, two lovely oldies but goodies. And now we get to have the experience of going in and being with that inner light and being in the conscious awareness of Spirit. So let's take a conscious connected breath. 3 deep breaths, as deep as you can go. And just let your body relax and feel comfortable, and know that you're just preparing yourself to open yourself up to an experience of the divine by allowing your mind to become still, your body to become still, and your heart to listen, to listen. Now just think of yourself in some very beautiful place that you love to be. that always makes you feel peaceful and allows you to feel that quiet joy in your own company in a beautiful place. Perhaps in that beautiful place there's a gorgeous tree full of strength, full of shade. And just move toward it as though you're going to go and sit under the shelter of its branches. But as you get very close, you see it's actually a door in this tree trunk. And it opens as you approach it, and you go in, and lo, there's a lighted staircase, 3 levels. And you go down the first level of stairs to a little landing, and down to the next level of stairs to another little landing, and down the 3rd level of stairs to the final landing, and there's another door that you open, and out you go into this amazing paradise of a place. It's in the middle of nowhere, it's in the middle of everywhere. It's your sanctuary where you can go to at any time, and in it is every kind of nature's delight that you could imagine. Beautiful waters, mountains, hills, meadows, gardens, trees, shrubs, flowers, singing birds, birds of all kinds of wonderful creatures that delight you. Everything delights you here, and everything is very vivid, very, very vivid. The colors are like colors that you would not normally see when you're regularly out in nature, as divine as they are. These ones are vibrant, life-filled, iridescent almost. You allow yourself to go to that resting place in this, your sanctuary that you're choosing to make your resting place, a place you can sit in comfort and just take in all that breathtaking beauty and listen to all the sounds of that beauty of nature and allow yourself to enjoy all the beautiful fragrances of nature. And you just bathe in that energy, that force field of energy that is a state rather than a place, in a timeless zone. And here you feel great, you feel good, you feel marvelous. And as you sit, you feel the need to close your eyes, and you do. And as you do, you sense a presence, an amazing presence. And it's all around you, and it's all about you, and it's above you, and it's below you. And it seems to saturate you. It's huge, it's vast, it's deep, it's high, it's wide. And it creates a sensation within you that is indescribable. There wouldn't be words to describe it. And that light force of beingness overtakes you to such a degree that you're not aware of a body at all. You're bodiless. You're just a light force, an infinite light force. And you find yourself moving, getting up and moving toward a beautiful, beautiful, still watered lake. It's reflecting the most blue sky and amazing clouds, beautiful snow white clouds. And the blue that it reflects is like a blue you've never seen before. It's more gem-like, crystal-like. It sparkles, glistens. It's like a pool of light, white and blue with shades of green, and some gold from some of the trees that have gorgeous golden blossoms. And you are the light upon it and around it. And you are the light within it. And you have access to all of it. And you allow yourself to immerse yourself in that pool, that reflecting pool, iridescent pool. And as you do, you feel everything that once was an ailment being totally washed out of you. Whether it's mental or physical or emotional or spiritual. You're the light force, the form of light in this beautiful pool that is also the reflection and the movement of light. And you're interacting with it. You're in this beautiful sacred dance with it. And it is moving through anything that you might have contemplated as a shadow, either in your body or in your mind or in your heart or in your soul. Shadow. No more. You are now free. You are free from any sense of ailment. You are free to know yourself in truth as an aspect of that emanating light force that is infinite, out of which you came, in which you now are. And as it, you will always be. And now, you take your own unique essence up out of that pool and you meander around this paradise. And as you do, everything becomes pure light. Pure light. Everything. And you now glide up a beautiful mountainside that's full of fresh, lush, wild-flowered, carpeted meadow. And you pause there. And as you do, you look down over the valleys, over the scenes that are before you. It's like all the world is there and you can see it all. You can see all its beauty and all its grace as it was meant to be. And you move into a song of praise, a song and praising life, and you don't have to sing because here everything is internal. You think song and you're automatically, your whole being is singing. And so you become the music, the light music. And what you're praising is all of life. And you start out with blessing everything and everyone and nature and all its contents. And it's a beauteous thing, and the more you allow the song to sing you, the lighter you feel, the brighter you feel, the more whole you feel. And then you whittle that down to various and sundry personal things that you wish to praise and raise and honor. And it's all amazing, amazingly, awesomely magnificent. And you feel the power, and you know it's a power other than you. And you are in perfect cooperation with it. Perfect cooperation with it. And the lightness of being is stunning, stunning. There is no weightiness here, none whatsoever. And you feel that you have realized what you came to realize. That all you have to do is to relax, release, let go, and let God be God by means of you. And be that channel of grace, that channel of light. that channel of blessedness. So you're blessing now everything and everyone, because you realize you are everything and everyone. So you're blessing the one life that you and all life are part of. And now you just lean into that presence. You lean into that presence that is everywhere, above you, below you, around you, about you, and in you. And in your leaning in, you caress back the sacred caress that never, ever stops embracing you. That sacred embrace that never lets you go. And you realize, I am being held by a love that will not let me go. And there's nothing for me to do except to be in gratitude, in praise, in thanksgiving, in love with my source and the true essence of my being. And so as light, and more light than a feather, you come down the mountain. You go back to the pool. You glide through it. Find yourself in your resting place. And you know you're ready now. You've been transformed. You have been engaged. And you're ready to return to the sense world now as that channel of grace, ready to be the blessing that you know you are much more deeply and fully now. And so you find yourself moving back as that light form to the tree, your friend the tree. And as you approach it, you return back into the body. But you know now this body will never be the same again. And that indeed the body is within the light form and not the other way around. And you're feeling good and you're feeling better than ever. And the door opens for you and you see the 3 flights of stairs and you start to ascend them up the first level, up the second level, up the third level. The door opens and you're back in the sensory world. And you make your way back into this time, into this place, into this day, into this room, feeling good and very good and changed. Changed. In a wonderful way, changed. Coming back. You're coming back now. You're allowing yourself to feel the seat supporting you. And hear the sounds around you. And we're here. We're here, ready for our adventure to get out into the world and splash our light all around the place. And now we are going to sing that wonderful oldie. They're all oldies today. We're taking a stroll down memory lane. And it is In the Garden. All right.
And the voice I hear calling on
Yes, yes, yes. See, Reverend Mary made it for the end. And now we're going